my boss now, I mean, my boss is so nice. It is so crazy, that I can have these.
Olá pessoal, bem-vindos a mais um vídeo nesse canal. Nós somos cidadãos do terceiro mundo e nesse canal nós reagimos ao primeiro mundo. Nesse vídeo a gente vai reagir a 5 coisas que eu amo sobre a cultura dinamarquesa.
Então pedimos que, por favor, considere se inscrever, ative as notificações e deixe mais sugestões lá no nosso Instagram para mais vídeos como esse. E agora vamos para a reação.
Hi everybody, and if you have not heard the news, I recently got a new job here in Denmark, and it's actually a different career path. And I've noticed some things about my new job in the working environment here in Denmark that is much different than what I expected compared to what I've experienced in the United States. And I'm going to tell you about it right now. Stay tuned.
Come along as my Danish husband and our 2 sons show this American what it means to live a life in Denmark. My new Danish life.
Hi there and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kelly and I'm an American who lives in Denmark. And I've lived in Denmark now for 5 years. And the thing with that is that before, when I lived in the United States, I was a high school teacher. And when I moved to Denmark, I actually was a folkeskole teacher here. So that was grades like 0 through 10, right? I mean, I noticed there was a lot of differences between an American school and a Danish school. And I have videos where I talk about that. I have quite a few videos where I talk about American and Danish school systems. But when I think about this new career path, I work in a business, right? I work in corporate Denmark. It's very different from being a teacher, first of all. But when I think about the working environment, it is so not what I was expecting. I know a lot of people who have corporate jobs in the United States, who work for big companies, and really just the idea of what is normal is so different in Denmark. It's to the point where if I ever get a different job in the future, I don't think I want to work for any other type of company except for a Danish company.
Mas isso é muito interessante porque a gente já viu em outros vídeos que as pessoas realmente, quando elas vão para a Europa, elas percebem uma atmosfera no ambiente do lugar onde elas trabalham que é realmente muito diferente.
É verdade, é maravilhoso, porque a gente pode observar isso, como você disse, em vários vídeos, então realmente é uma coisa que faz parte da cultura deles. Mas a gente já viu outros vídeos sobre a Dinamarca falando sobre esse ponto também, então essa é uma coisa que realmente existe, né? Porque são tantas pessoas diferentes falando sobre isso, né? E é fantástico.
Because I'm really starting to enjoy this type of environment. Let me tell you about that. But before we do, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider clicking the red button. I would really appreciate it if you followed along as a subscriber. Okay, one thing that I noticed right off the bat is the dress code. I mean, nobody is walking around with a clipboard making sure that you're wearing a certain type of clothing. But I can't believe how casual it is. Like I said, I know people who have jobs in corporate businesses, whatever, and they're always wearing very nice clothing, right? They're wearing business suits or slacks or ties or dress shirts or whatever. Women may be wearing skirts or, pantsuit sets or dresses or whatever. But it's really crazy. It's different because I wear jeans almost every single day. Sometimes I dress up. Sometimes I wear something a little bit more professional looking. I guess it might depend if I have like certain meetings with different types of people. But if I'm really just working with my team, I wear jeans. So that was number 1. Right away, my very first week of my job, I'm wearing, really nice clothing. And I'm looking around, and even at my internship, there were people in like yoga pants, and I thought, what? Startup companies are a little bit different than maybe some of these bigger corporations, but nobody's been wearing yoga pants where I've been at my new job. But still, the casual clothing was kind of a shock for me.
Isso é fantástico porque aqui no Brasil tem muitas pessoas que julgam as outras, principalmente em ambiente corporativo, julga a vestimenta e trajes sociais são vistos de uma forma assim que coloca uma pessoa num nível superior. Então, se você pega uma pessoa que tá vestida de outra forma, né, que foge disso, ela pode simplesmente ser mal interpretada, mas eu acho incrível como os dinamarqueses olham para isso, porque isso mostra que eles estão olhando para que a pessoa né, tipo, para a essência dela e para o que ela pode agregar ali, não para uma coisa de fora que muitas vezes não tem valor nenhum, então é fantástico isso.
Number 2 is probably one of my favorite things, is that they focus on the person more than the job. I keep thinking back to the time when I was teaching, and I was a German teacher, and I was the only German teacher in my school, and I kept thinking, if I take time off to be with my kids after I have a baby or whatever, more than the 6 weeks that's allowed, right? What's going to happen to my program? And I was so focused on my job. And I was evaluated based off of how many days I took off work. I was on bed rest from a pregnancy where I had 55 days when I couldn't work because of a medical condition with my pregnancy. And they wanted to give me a low score on my evaluation because I missed so much work. And I'm thinking, hello? The doctor said I couldn't. But it's crazy because that would not happen in Denmark. I mean, if you feel otherwise, please let me know in the comments. If you have a job here in Denmark, let me know. But the thing is that, I need to leave work at a certain time, maybe to pick up a kid from school or something, or to take a kid to an appointment or whatever. And they're so chill about it. Like, oh yeah, you go ahead and do that. I'm like, well, we need to have this meeting, but is there any way we can move it? Because I really need to leave at like 3:30 because I have to pick up my son today. And I don't pick up my kids every day, right? Sometimes my kids take their bikes to school, but sometimes I have to take them somewhere, right? And it has to be in the car, and it has to be with the mom. And it's crazy because I don't get judged for that. I don't get judged for being a mom and having to balance my life and my work. And that's something that people have been saying since day one when I moved to Denmark. Oh, I love the work-life balance. And I said, I don't know what that is. I have not seen that. What is this? And I'm really starting to experience it now with my new job. Because if I have to, maybe start working earlier or maybe take some hours at home, it's completely fine. Or if I want to work home because whatever, maybe I have like a kid who is not going to school, well, then I can stay at home and I can do my job from home. It's such a nice feeling to know that I'm being put first and that the job, yes, of course my job is important. Yes, of course there are some things that need to get done, but they realize that we're human beings with a life outside of this job. And it's just such a refreshing feeling knowing that there's no guilt if I have to, if I have to take off early one day. There's no guilt involved. Nobody pressures me. Nobody makes me feel bad about it. And I just love that. Number 3 is your relationship.
Isso é incrível porque ela se sente bem por não ter essa pressão quando isso deveria ser visto como uma coisa natural, né? E é interessante porque eu estava lendo sobre a questão emocional e equilibrar muitas coisas ao mesmo tempo. E realmente uma coisa difícil, porque quando você tenta equilibrar muitas coisas ao mesmo tempo, a questão financeira, por exemplo, pode afetar o seu emocional e abalar você profundamente. Então, por exemplo, uma pessoa que trabalha numa empresa e não consegue equilibrar tudo, ela pode acabar fazendo um serviço ruim, né? Justamente por isso, por essa não conseguir conciliar tudo, e às vezes você tem que escolher partes da sua vida em que realmente você quer dedicar alguma coisa que você vê que vale a pena, mas você não consegue. Então, é interessante como eles tem uma visão humanizada disso, né? Realmente é uma pessoa que está ali, ela precisa conciliar tudo e ela precisa ter tempo disso e eles compreendem. Isso é incrível.
Isso é incrível. Em nosso país, há muitos anos atrás, isso também acontecia, era mais flexível. Hoje existe uma rigidez maior, mas é muito interessante a gente perceber que ela veio de um país onde existe muita promessa de que você vai lá, vai trabalhar, vai fazer, vai ganhar dinheiro. Porém, o que muitas pessoas não lembram é o quão rigoroso é lá. E ela está colocando uma situação que, pelo que parece, ela nunca viveu isso no país onde ela morava. E ela está aqui surpresa com isso, porque isso realmente é muito diferente. Imagina, você vem de um país onde você tem muita pressão e competitividade no trabalho e, de repente, você vai para um outro país e se depara com uma situação incrível dessa. Somente na Dinamarca mesmo para isso acontecer.
Relationship with your boss. And I had a lot of principals in my day, which is crazy because I was a teacher for 13 years in the US and I can't say how many principals, came and went. And I was in the same school district, but I can't quite say that I liked many of them because I don't feel that they treated the teachers very well. And when it comes to my boss now, I mean, my boss is so nice. It is so crazy, that I can have these, personal conversations with her that, if I'm concerned about something, she's concerned about it, She really wants to make sure that I am enjoying myself at my job and that I'm not getting stressed out. And I just think that is so great. It makes me feel good about going to my job, makes me feel good about the work that I'm doing. And so I really appreciate that. I think so many times there's, the boss mentality of you have to get all this done. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care about anything else. I only care about the job. And again, going back to my number 2, they focus more on the people. And, I feel like I can go to my boss and say, you know what, I have an issue with this. And I don't have to feel afraid that I'm going to lose my job because I stepped on somebody's toes or because, I approached something in the wrong way. I mean, we can have open dialogue back and forth. She can tell me things, I can tell her things, and I just think that's really kind of nice. Number 4 is mind-blowing, if you ask me. It's mind-blowing.
Em nosso país, os chefes, eles são vistos como alguém muito inalcançável. Você precisa passar por muitas camadas e muitas pessoas para poder chegar ao chefe e poder conversar com ele. E aqui no Brasil, é exatamente como ela disse. É tudo muito focado no trabalho. Existe uma descontração ou outra, mas no geral, existe um distanciamento muito grande.
Me, I'm borderline perfectionist. I like to have things, a certain way. And if somebody gives me a task, I want to do it the best of my ability. That's just kind of how I am. But the thing is that I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I'm not being, pressured, I guess. And so my number 4 is patience. There's so much patience. And every time I, am doing something at my job, everything is new to me. I'm trying to learn all these different things and get training and whatever. And they're like, you know what? Don't worry about it. It'll come. It takes a while to get, into the flow of it all. And I'm like, wow. You mean you're not expecting me to be an expert on something like on day 2? That's so nice, I just feel like they're really, again, caring about people and having that patience to let me ease myself into this job really, I think, allows me to learn and to adjust much faster because I don't feel the pressure on top of that. I don't know about you guys at your jobs if you feel the same way, but every time I feel like, man, I should know this, or man, I feel bad that I can't help this person do something because I don't have all the information I need yet. And then everybody says, you know what? Don't worry about it. It takes a while, and it's just, I feel like it really does something for my self-esteem. It's almost like therapy, like, you know what? You're all right. It's okay. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, and it could just be my team that is just so wonderful, right? But I don't know, these days, you know, and I don't work with all Danish people. I work for an international company, but I would say that there is just me and one other person who is not Danish. So I would have to say a lot of this may come from just that Danish work culture. So, and number 5, you gotta love, and I had to set my last job when I was teaching here in Denmark, and this is fredagsbrød, which is Friday bread. And Friday bread is just really, you know, somebody is assigned every Friday to bring in bread, and there will be cheese and jam and butter and meats and chocolate and who knows what else that you're going to be putting on your bread. You know, it all depends on the person. I mean, we've done even like chopped up vegetable plates and things like this before when I was teaching.
Wow.
And that's just something that you don't see. You know, I've never really heard about that in the U.S. As a teacher, you know, we had like a teacher's lounge. Sometimes people went into it, sometimes they didn't. But this is something that really kind of brings everybody together. This is something that we're going to be doing within my team. We are just switched over to a new building, or a new part of the building. So we're getting everything started off fresh, and it's actually going to get started because the Danes are saying we need to do Friday's bread. And I mean, hey, I'm not going to complain about that. I think that's a fantastic idea. And really, it's a time for you to kind of sit down and everybody takes a break and everybody, you know, is eating together. And I think that is so great because it really, you know, shows everyone that they're included. It is a nice time for people just to kind of relax a little bit. We're really busy, you know, at my job. I'm pretty much busy all day long. But it's so nice to be able to be social in a way with the other people and just have this designated, you know, time to spend with them, even if it's just a short period of time. It's really nice, I think, in my opinion, to have that. Again, I think it's very much focused on the person. And that's something that I don't think that I've ever felt before in a job that I've had in the United States. It's always been, you know, numbers driven, like, okay, what's the progress? What's the progress? You know, and I know that teachers, especially in the United States, in certain schools would feel the pressure of if the students don't perform at a certain level, then you could lose your job, you know, and it's very stressful because there's a lot of factors that go into a kid doing well on a test, and it's not all about what you do in your classroom. So it's really nice to have a job in Denmark. I'm very lucky. I know some people, it's very hard for them to find jobs, but I think I'm lucky because of the work culture. Everybody is very helpful to each other. I think that is so important, but it's also so laid back that I feel that I can do my job and not be as stressed, and I can enjoy it, and I can really get to know the people that I work with. What do you think?
É interessante como ela fala como é cultivado esse ambiente saudável, né, na área de trabalho na Dinamarca, e realmente é fantástico e admirável, porque eles promovendo essa cultura de bem-estar no trabalho, acaba aumentando o rendimento dos funcionários, mas acaba também promovendo um bem-estar que alcança outras áreas, porque uma pessoa passa um tempão no serviço e quando ela sai, dependendo de como ela ficou naquele ambiente, ela pode ficar bem sobrecarregada e levar esses problemas para casa também, né? Então, é incrível como realmente isso funciona como uma rede lá, né? Porque a gente pega esse ponto, mas a gente pode analisar outros pontos também e tudo tá muito interligado, tá muito conectado, e eu acho que isso é o que faz a Dinamarca funcionar tão bem, né? Então, realmente é uma coisa admirável, mas você precisa também ter um olhar analítico para ver se é possível implementar isso aqui. E isso é uma coisa que falta, né? Porque a gente não tem esses representantes olhando para coisas assim, né? Coisas que são possíveis, mas que exigem adaptações, né?
What is the work culture like where you are? Let me know what country you're in. And if you are working in Denmark, what do you think about this list of 5? Is it something that you would also agree with? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
Não, incrível, realmente incrível. Realmente, é exatamente o que você disse, né? E é muito interessante a gente perceber a percepção que os dinamarqueses têm em relação ao ambiente do trabalho. Porque, como você falou, quando os funcionários eles estão felizes e satisfeitos no ambiente de trabalho, você acaba criando uma relação até muito mais forte do que se não tivesse esse tipo de coisa. Inclusive porque a gente não pode deixar de levar em consideração a questão do bem-estar social, mas também da saúde mental, porque faz com que o ambiente de trabalho seja um ambiente familiar, seja um ambiente descontraído, e as pessoas, ao invés de se sentirem pressionadas, elas vão se sentir leves e dispostas a colaborar.
É verdade, é maravilhoso. Eu tenho que me controlar quando assisto esses tipos de vídeos, porque é muita coisa incrível, né? Então, são coisas muito elogiáveis. E é fantástico, porque realmente isso é uma parte essencial, né? De como a sociedade vai funcionar. E você olha coisas assim, você não acredita que existe, né? Principalmente no país onde a gente tem muita... lutas de classe e também muita hierarquia, né? Então, é incrível, né? Quando você olha uma coisa assim, você nem consegue imaginar que pode existir de tão fantástico que é.
Sim, sem dúvidas, mas essa é a reação nesse vídeo. Então aproveite a oportunidade, considere se inscrever no nosso canal, clique no gostei, compartilhe esse vídeo e visite o nosso Instagram para fazer mais sugestões de conteúdos como esse.
Muito obrigada por assistir esse vídeo e nos vemos na próxima reação.
Tchau!